It's Black History Month, and that context is not accidental. It matters to what we're about to talk about today, and that's common knowledge. Common Knowledge Podcast, just a man doing the best he can with what he got. And President Donald Trump's Truth Social post showed Barack and Michelle Obama depicted as primates in a jungle. The post was widely condemned as racist by civil rights leaders, Democrats, and even some Republicans, then deleted. But Trump refused to apologize, saying he supported the video's broader claims and hadn't watched the part people don't like. And that's a constant Trump MO. Never apologize. He's one of those guys who feel like if you apologize, it makes you look weak. When asked if he condemned racism, Trump said, "Of course I do." But that response is classic. That's what they always do. Deny. Deniability. It's the same pattern we've seen before. Offensive conduct followed by a half-ass apology like, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that," or I don't see it that way, or "I didn't mean it that way." That's usually what goes on. The White House hasn't explained how social media posts are vetted or whether Trump himself posted them. If he's not personally posting them, which is something L. Maxwell said on a previous podcast, why does it appear under his name? So, if proxies are doing this for him, he's still responsible because it's under his name. Because he hired them, he oversees them, and he approves messages on his platform. And if he doesn't, then that means he's not in charge. But let's be honest, Trump has a pattern of racism. Past controversies show Trump has a history that many critics say reflect racial insensitivities or worse. From promoting the birther conspiracy about Barack Obama, a claim he led for years, falsely questioning Obama's birthplace, to derogatory statements about immigrants in majority non-white countries. Y'all remember shithole countries? But let's move into deeper context on race and political history. America's racial framework has long shaped politics and social hierarchy. White is basically a term used to say privilege. And black is to say, hey, man, no privilege. That's generally what we use black and white for in America. Like, this matters because racism today isn't always overt or direct. It often works through deniability and coded language. Posting images of black leaders as primates is not accidental ignorance. Like, the historical use of such imagery to demean black people has been around for generations. If someone claims we're past racism or we're post-racial, yet engages in dog whistles and racial charged content like this, then you have to ask, are we really beyond racism or just better at denying it? And I would pose that we're better at denying racism today because a lot of y'all guys give racists an unearned benefit of the doubt. You'd be quick to say, "Oh, well, we don't know his character. We don't know if he meant it or not." And that's where education like DEI and honest conversations about history plays a role. If every time something racist happens, the response is, "Well, I didn't know," or "I didn't mean it like that," that is the strongest argument ever for critical race theory. But let's be honest. People know it's racist. It's just you're not held accountable for being racist towards black people. There's no accountability when a white person is racist to a black person, unless it's just overt. And that's the only reason why people are speaking out now about this racism. It's overt, it's blatant, it's in your face. And right after the Obama controversy, Mark Burns, a black pastor and prominent Trump supporter, gave Trump the "I got a black friend" defense. He said publicly that he spoke to Trump and recommended firing the staffer and condemning the video. Some people point out that this is like proof that Trump is a racist. But once again, there's been proof. It's just that his supporters don't care. Like, we gotta start pretending these folks care about his racism. For a lot of his supporters, this is a feature, not a bug. And here's another truth. having a black supporter defend a white politician doesn't erase racist content. Like, they think that's a cheat code. Oftentimes when white folks do some racist shit, they hit you with the, well, I got a black friend. I'm like, yo, bro, that doesn't mean the shit you did was not racist. It's just another tool to deflect criticism and to refute the underlying pattern. And this goes back to a question I asked in the previous podcast, and I'll reprise that question. When can I call you a racist? Like, seriously, how much racist shit can you do before we all are allowed to call you racist? Because Trump has an undeniable pattern of racist shit. Number one, the birther movement. Like, Trump was the first person to say President Obama was not born in the United States, despite President Obama releasing his birth certificate. Number two, housing discrimination lawsuits. The Trump family real estate business faced U.S. Department of Justice lawsuits in 1970 for alleged racial discrimination, refusing rental applications of black people. In that controversy, they actually wrote B's on black applications, so there are no pass on them, and that B stood for black. Then you got the Charlottesville white supremacy in 2017. After white supremacists and neo-Nazis marched in Charlottesville, chanting racist slogans like Jews would not replace us, Trump suggested they were fine people on both sides. That was widely criticized as implying moral equivalency between racist extremists and counter-protesters. Look, man, under no circumstances can neo-Nazis be fine people. Then look at its immigration policies. Senior advisors like Stephen Miller helped craft and push a hardline immigration policy, often criticized as racially discriminatory, and it is. Even the Supreme Court allowed these folks the right to racially profile people. You walk around with an accent, yeah, you couldn't possibly be American or naturalized. No. Get deported, man. So what can we say? Can we call the man right? Can we just drop the facade and just flat out say the president of the United States is a racist? He wouldn't be the first one, probably not gonna be the last one. But I'm tired of all this pretending like what we're seeing is not what we're seeing. And Carolina Levitt, you're gonna have to shut the hell up, man. Like, really, you're gonna have to get the hell out the paint. It's honorable that you're doing your job defending the presidency. It truly is. But coming out here and saying that racist ass video was because of the Lion King, was just dumb as fuck. You should have said Tarzan. Like, see, Tarzan would have been the one guy. Like, seriously, get your lies straight and use the right Disney movie. All right, at the time of this recording, it is Super Bowl Sunday, and I am looking forward to the Bad Bunny halftime show. Man, if you never heard his music, man, it gets the woman hot. Yo, there's gonna be a lot of ass shaking going on when Bad Bunny hits the stage. I'm looking forward to it personally. A lot of controversy around his act, but before I talk about the controversy and what it means, let me just say fuck Jake Paul. The man just sent out a tweet that says, turning off the halftime show, let's rally together to show big corporations they can't just do whatever they want without consequences, which equals viewership for them. You are their benefit. Realize you have power. Turn off this halftime. A fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America, I cannot support that. But the question is, why is Jake Paul doing this? And the answer is because he knows where his money comes from. The same reason Nicki Minaj is doing this. They're grifting. They know a certain set of white people will pay to hear this, especially when it comes to Nicki Minaj, right? They'll pay good money to see a black person tap dance. But Jake Paul called Bad Bunny a fake citizen. Why? What makes him a fake American citizen, Jake? Huh? I mean, did Puerto Rico ask to be a territory? What made this man fake? Which leads to my thesis. What are you really trying to say by not watching this halftime show? Honestly, what do you hope to accomplish by not watching this halftime show? So you're going to watch all the game, but turn off the halftime show? That's stupid. But this is primarily white folks making this stand. Now, why are white folks making this stand? Let's break it down. All right, we talked about this before, but evangelical is a proxy word for white. It's even posed as white. When we say evangelical, it just really means white people in America. That's evangelical. And the problem with modern day evangelicals and Christianity in general in America is it's just performative. These folks ain't got no goddamn principles, like no principles. And it's usually a proxy for racism. Now, am I saying all evangelicals are racist? No, but the evangelical leader, Jerry Falwell's first crusade was segregation. And after that failed, he pivoted to abortion, but founded on segregationist principles. A lot of these evangelical Christians are just racist in disguise, or it's used for racism. It's been said multiple times before, the most segregated time in America is high noon on Sunday. If Christianity was really about what Christianity claimed to be, then everybody should be worshiping together. I know a lot of you white folks right now are going to be like, well, there's 3 black people in my congregation. That should mean something, right? But in general, people don't even worship with each other. They don't. When the Crusades happened, when colonialism happened, imperialism happened, when slavery happened in America, that's right, chattel slavery, they came with the Bible. And they was trying to bring this religion to those savages. So, with that in mind, let's all admit the majority of people in Turning Point USA are evangelicals. That is a majority of their base. It's based in this pipeline, it's leadership, it's culturally evangelical. And I had to look up why evangelicals dominate Turning Point USA. And the reasons I got was shared worldview. Evangelical Christians overlap heavily with Turning Point USA core theme of anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ rights, anti-DEI, and America as a Christian nation, which is not. It's a nation you're allowed to be Christian, but whatever. Turning Point USA recruits heavily from evangelical campuses, and people like Charlie Kirk really found out that you can back any racist ideology or problematic language in the Bible. That was his whole get down. And a lot of people are using religion to spout out some of their racist ideology. And there's people who say they don't agree with that, but yet and still, you're still part of the organization, so we have to lump you in that group. Which leads us to the Super Bowl. Why is Turning Point USA having an alternative halftime show this year? And that's basically because this is a recruitment drive for them people. They're trying to be seen. They're trying to stay relevant. And they're promoting the fact that they are white in front of you. That's what it is, man. They got an all-white lineup of stars because that's the main point they want you to see. The point they're trying to make is, I don't want to see brown people at the Super Bowl, and they should not be headlining. And some of y'all are gonna be like, oh my God, here you go, making it about race again. But who do they have on the Turning Point USA side? They got Kid Rock, who is a hilarious choice. Lee Brice and Gabby Barnett. An all-star lineup of white people is a counter programming to the main show. This is a good example of how people use culture war issues to try to say what they really want to say. What they really want to say is, I don't like minorities, but they're using the Super Bowl in music as a proxy to try to say this. So while sports world is focused on Super Bowl, there's a parallel culture performance unfolding. This year's official Super Bowl halftime show headline is Puerto Rican reggaeton superstar Bad Bunny. which makes all the sense in the world if you're the NFL. Like, this expands you into the Spanish-speaking market, and you're doing it with an American. You get to highlight all the diversity of America and appeal to all the Spanish-speaking population, which there are a lot of them, guys. A whole lot of them. It's a win for the NFL. We should be happy. That should be progress, and we should be praising this. But no. Conservatives are losing their mind because Bad Bunny is the headliner at the Super Bowl. And let's just look into this. Why? Why would they be mad? It's just music. It's not even the football. It's the music. Why are they mad about this? It's the same reason why we have these ICE raids going on right now, and they're trying to deport Black and brown people. White America is scared of the darkening of America. And when they see Puerto Rican Spanish singing act at the Super Bowl, it reminds them that whiteness is kind of a fleeting type situation. It scares them. That's why they're having an alternative Super Bowl halftime show, literally to show white people are still dominant. And let's just be honest with ourselves. Turning Point USA, whole Get Down, is supposedly about Christian values. I will tell you, it's not about Christian values. It's white supremacist actions shrouded in Christian values. If the reason for having this all-American show in your Turning Point USA, and it's about like really Christian values, I ask you, who has ever headlined the Super Bowl who represented Christian values? Who was it? Which act? Was it the Jacksons? Was it Charles Burns? How about Chubby Checker? Is that a great Christian actor? Huh? New Kids on the Block? Gloria Estefan, Michael Jackson, Clint Black? The Blues Brothers? Yeah, them guys actually headlined a Super Bowl. The Blues Brothers. Is that your big Christian, moral, American headliner? No. What you're really trying to say is, I'm tired of seeing minorities. I want to see white people. And some of y'all are going to be like, no, that's not what it is, Marcus. You're making it about race again. The real problem is Bad Bunny says something negative about the U.S. government, and then I'm going to ask you, when did that matter? You too strongly criticize the U.S. government. They engage directly with the U.S. president while also criticizing policy failures. You too performed at the Super Bowl. Prince frequently spoke out about civil liberties and government overreach. Performed at the Super Bowl. Not to mention, man, he publicly opposed the Iraq war. Bruce Springsteen hates President Trump and criticizes him publicly all the damn time. Performed at the Super Bowl. Madonna, she criticized George W. Bush and his whole administration, and she's been an advocate for LGBTQ rights. Performed at the Super Bowl. Let's not forget Beyonce and the Black Panther. Fist up. Tom Petty criticized George W. Bush. Lady Gaga, let's not even get started. So once again, him criticizing the U.S. government, which is a American right last time I checked, to openly criticize the government, shouldn't be a problem. So what are you really trying to say? And what you're really trying to say is America is changing too quick. It's getting too brown. I want to make America white again. That's the underlying tone. And conservatively, historically, America has always been white, but it's not white anymore. We are a melting pot. But a lot of folks don't want to melt. So that's why they're asking for an American act, because they see a Hispanic man performing. And last time I checked, Puerto Rico is part of America. Like, look, Americans, you got to start doing geography and taking social studies serious. That's American territory. Bad Bunny is American. So anybody saying they don't want a non-American on the Super Bowl, you didn't say that for The Who. You didn't say that for Coldplay. I wonder why you didn't say it for Coldplay. What are you really trying to say? All right, guys, last section, and I'm going to do a quick album review. Because J. Cole's new album, The Fallout, I'm sorry. The Fall Off has just came out, and I gave it the first listen. And before I give this critique, let me just be honest and say I'm not a big J. Cole fan. And it's not really J. Cole's fault that I'm not a J. Cole fan. It's just much like Nas, J. Cole became the default answer for people who don't really listen to rap music. Seriously, if you listen to a fly-by-night rap listener and ask them who's the most lyrical person, they're gonna say Nas. Nas was always the default answer. It was safe. Same thing with J. Cole. Like, and this time it's J. Cole. Man, who's a good lyrical rapper? J. Cole, he's lyrical. Not saying he's not, but that kind of turned me off because I'm a counterculture guy. If y'all wearing Nikes, I'm wearing Adidas. Y'all wear Adidas, I'm switching to Puma. Y'all going to Pumas? Hell, I'm looking at Reeboks now. But that being said, J. Cole new album. Let's get this out the way. Sonically beautiful, mixed masterfully. Every mix is intentional. You can tell every knob twist was done with care. It is one of the cleanest, most pristine albums I've heard in a long ass time. But that being said, man, I found the production pretty boring. Like seriously, the production itself did not wow me. It's not bad. Nothing is bad about the production, but none of the beats really stuck out to me. It's really sample heavy, which is okay. Sample heavy, more boom bap-ish with a southern twist to it, if that makes any sense. But the beats themselves didn't really just move me. And dare I say it, man, this album could have used some trimming. A lot of fluff on this album. The album at times made me just want to skip to the next song. It was kind of boring at points. But J. Cole himself, wonderful rapper. Like, no song I heard was the lyrics not up to par. He was in the pocket most of the time in these raps, but once again, if you're giving me kind of uninteresting beats, I gotta lean on the lyrics. And most people say that's the thing with Nas. I pick trash beats because I want the lyrics to shine. Yeah, man, can you not do both? Like, seriously, can you not do both for me? So for me, album could have used some trimming, which leads to the features. The features on this album were boring as hell too. They're kind of pointless. The features don't even really feature on the songs. For example, on one song, he features Petey Pablo. And what is that song? Yes, Old Dog. Petey Pablo is basically overlaying ad-libs on the hook. That's not really a feature for me. I wanted to hear Petey Pablo rap. On the Billis, on the Billis, he features Erykah Badu, just singing background vocals. That didn't really do anything for me. I kind of wanted to hear the features more. And that's like all the damn features for the most part. They just literally feature. And the most prominent feature on this album was Burna Boy. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I could have did without that one. Not saying he did bad, but I could have did without that one. On a scale of 1 to 10 though, how would I rate this album? I would rate this album a strong 7.5, possible 8. And the reason why I'm saying that is, for all those criticism I just gave for the album, I loved it because it showed an aging rapper's content aging with him. The topics were so on point that I will forgive all those little gripes I had with the album. The album touched on so many things that older men deal with. Mortality, success, happiness, depression, women are, and I deal with this myself, survivor's guilt. In a retrospective look at the hood and where you came from and how you're kind of losing connection with that. This album touched on that, and it was done masterfully in that sense. It really did. And that's kind of the gripe people have for Drake. Bro, you're damn near 40, man. I don't want to hear about bitches and popping bottles and skirt. I don't need that no more from you. Give me some more content. That being said, though, the album is kind of sing-songy, which it does become taxing at times, but I don't mind that. So overall, this album, man, 7.5, strong 8. I recommend everybody go listen to it. J. Cole, The Fall Off. Good album. Good album. Just besides those few gripes I gave, damn good album. And that's the Common Knowledge Podcast, updated every week. Thank you guys for rocking with me. If you like the podcast, please share it with your friends. Yeah, that's about it. Peace. And I'm going to try to get my homie Alex to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show like we always do. Y'all be good.